After suffering through the abortion that was the season premiere of Star Trek Discovery, also known as STD, we were reminded of how lucky we are to have the Orville. Well, except for some angry people in my comment section. Take a look, it makes for entertaining reading. We're now 4 episodes into the second season of the Orville, and Seth MacFarlane continues to emphasize characters and story over comedy. But that doesn't mean that the comedy is completely sidelined. It's still there, and it's still effective. It just isn't the main focus. And that's one of the many reasons why the Orville works so well. The biggest cause for concern for fans is still the ratings, which are lower than last season. There is some good news though. While Primal Urges, the second episode, hit a series low at 2.82 million, Home and Nothing Left on Earth Excepting Fishes both managed to get back over 3 million, but just. Some have questioned whether or not Primal Urges was a good choice for the second episode, and even though I like the episode, to a certain extent I have to agree with this. There was no choice in its placement though. It was a holdover from season 1 and had to be shown before Home. In this video I'm going to take a quick look at the 3rd and 4th episodes from season 2 of the Orville. Initially, I was a little worried when watching Home, at least the first 2/3 of the episode. We already had 2 character-driven episodes back to back, and 3 in a row may not have been the wisest move. I was wrong though, as slightly after the midpoint of the episode it takes a complete left turn. This was also the episode that said goodbye to Alara and Halston Sage. This was why Primal Urges needed to come first, as she appears in that episode. It was a plot that we've seen on Star Trek a few times, but the best example that comes to mind is Prodigal Daughter, from Deep Space Nine's final season where Ezri Dax returns home. The basic story was fairly standard. Alara is forced to return home after her body starts having difficulties after having been away from her planet's significantly higher gravity after such an extended period of time. We learn that she left home against the wishes of her parents, and the drama deals with the fallout from that. What sells this episode is the performance of our 2 former Star Trek doctors, Robert Picardo and John Billingsley. Picardo returns as Alara's disapproving father, and Billingsley comes in to provide our plot twist, which I don't think many people saw coming. The scene where Billingsley suddenly tells Picardo to start serving boiling sauce with his hand is a series high point, and frankly creepy as hell. Billingsley does creepy wonderfully. What distinguishes Home, even though following a familiar template, is that it is still a nice change of pace episode. I always liked Star Trek's change of pace episodes, at least until everyone seemed to be centered on the holodeck during the Voyager years, but that's another video. It's the 4th episode of the season, Nothing Left on Earth Excepting Fishes, that is easily the strongest entry to date this year. It gives us a take on infiltration that was much better than STD did when it tackled the same subject last season. Yeah, like everything, STD screwed it up. Again though, that will be the focus of a future video, so I'm not going to go into much detail on that here. In Shailaja, we were introduced to Lieutenant Janelle Tyler as a love interest for Captain Mercer, or at least that's what we were led to believe. I kind of wondered where this was going, given that she was played by the same actor that played Talea in season 1. I figured this was one of the possible outcomes, but the way it plays out was actually quite good. The relationship was part of the arc that deals with Mercer finally getting over his marriage. You really have to feel for the poor guy after the events here. It seems that when it comes to relationships, he just can't catch a break. The episode starts with Mercer and Tyler taking a romantic vacation together. At first I was concerned that this would be yet another character-centric episode, where the action is left to the end. Well, as I've said, I like the first 3 episodes. Excessive repetition is a good way to chase away your audience. Well, let's just say I was wrong. The romantic element comes to an end right after the opening credits as the 2 are kidnapped by a Krill ship, and it's revealed that Janelle never really existed and that she was actually Talea all the time. Admittedly, I had anticipated something along this line, as I knew that it was the same actress, but if you didn't know that, then this was a rather clever twist. We get yet another twist as the Krill ship comes under attack and the 2 are forced to flee in an escape pod. This episode also offers an effective commentary on racial and cultural bigotry. We learn that the Krill did not take well to learning that they were not the center of the universe, and that they view all other races and anyone that doesn't share their particular religious beliefs as the enemy and inherently inferior. Does this sound like any other religious group? You know, one that might be the subject of some controversy in modern day Western society? What I like about the metaphorical approach taken here is that it is done in a very Star Trek type way. If STD were to tackle a subject like this, well, let's just say it would probably take on a completely different narrative. Mercer takes the time to ask Talea why she feels this way and why the Krill are so hostile to other races. He brings up a good point, which is, what is the end goal if their races cannot find some common ground and see eye to eye? And what will be the end result? Once the 2 of them are rescued by the Orville, Ed offers a very Star Trek-like solution to the conundrum of having to lay on board. Even though she had infiltrated a Union ship, Mercer decides to let her go as an attempt to get the Krill to see reason, a decision that could put his command at risk. What impact this ultimately has will have to wait for later episodes. McFarlane delivers what is probably his best performance to date. His feelings of betrayal and his ultimate solution come off as genuine. The verdict is still out on whether or not the Orville is better with the toning down of the comedic element. I actually really like this approach, and it makes the show feel even more like Star Trek. Saying that comedy has been toned down does not mean that it has been completely removed. Patrick Warburton, as Lieutenant Tharl, offers an effective counterbalance to the serious tone of both episodes, and Gordon's command test offers a nice distraction as well. We have to give McFarlane this. He's trying something a bit different this season, and personally I like the direction the show is going in. But, of course, others will have their own opinion, as everything is, of course, subjective. STD tried something new, and well, you might like it, but most Star Trek fans see this as not much better or even worse than Season 1. At least both shows are available on the same day, so if you don't care much for the second season of STD, but feel compelled to watch it for some reason, then at least you can follow it up with the Orville to maintain your sanity. And that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter. And as always, everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day.